The difference between cruelty and intelligence? One is emotional, the other is calculated. Intelligence isn't what they taught you in school. It's not memorizing facts or solving equations. Real intelligence is the ability to see what others refuse to acknowledge, that the world operates on power, not fairness, that people respect strategy, not kindness, that survival belongs to those who think 3 steps ahead, not those who react with their hearts. Machiavelli wasn't cruel. He was intelligent. He saw human nature without the filter of morality and wrote down what everyone already knew but was too afraid to admit. And they called him evil for it. But here's the truth. Intelligence looks like cruelty to those who've been conditioned to lose. It looks like manipulation to those who can't see the board. It looks like coldness to those who mistake emotion for strength. If you've ever been called selfish for protecting your energy, ruthless for setting boundaries, or cold for refusing to explain yourself, congratulations. You're starting to think like someone who understands the game. Now let's go deeper, because intelligence without application is just philosophy, and philosophy without consequence is just noise. You were taught that goodness wins, that if you play fair, the world plays fair back. But look around, the kind get walked over, the honest get used, and the loyal get forgotten. The world doesn't reward your morality, it rewards strategy. While the weak sit and wait for justice, the intelligent reshape the board. They don't ask for respect, they impose it. And that's the first lesson. The morality of the weak is just the disguise of weakness. You've been conditioned to believe fairness exists. It doesn't. Fairness is a word people use when they want something from you without giving anything back. Every time you expect the world to treat you well because you treat it well, you lose. You lose power. You lose control. You lose dominance over your own life. The world operates on consequence, not kindness. People don't care about your intentions, they care about what you can do for them or what you can do to them. If you can't inspire respect, you'll inspire nothing. And nothing is worse than fear. It's invisibility. You become a tool, a resource, disposable. The moment you stop being useful, you stop mattering. That's not cruelty. That's survival, and survival doesn't negotiate. I've watched people destroy themselves trying to be good. They give endlessly, thinking generosity builds loyalty. It doesn't. It builds expectation. The more you give without boundary, the more people assume you have no limit. They test you. They push. And when you finally say no, they call you selfish. But here's the truth. Selflessness without power is just self-destruction. You can't save anyone if you're drowning. You can't command respect if you're begging for approval. Respect isn't earned through sacrifice. It's earned through presence. And presence requires control. Think about it. When someone constantly apologizes, do you respect them more or less? When someone always agrees, do you trust their opinion or dismiss it? Weakness isn't about physical strength. It's about psychological submission. It's the inability to hold a position when pressure arrives. The strong don't bend under social expectation. They create the expectation. They dictate the terms. Look at Machiavelli, hated for saying what everyone already knew but refused to admit. He didn't invent manipulation, he revealed it. The game was always being played. You were just never taught the rules. And those who know the rules don't share them. They use them. The world isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's moving. Right now. Without you. Every second you spend hoping things will get better, someone else is acting. They're not nicer. They're not luckier. They're not more deserving. They're just less burdened by the fantasy of fairness. They see reality for what it is, a system of power, leverage, and consequence. You either learn to operate within that system, or you become a casualty of it. So stop asking why the world is cruel. Start asking why you're still pretending it isn't. Because pretending costs you everything. And everything includes your psychology, your emotion, your sense of self. The question isn't whether cruelty exists. It's whether you're intelligent enough to see it coming. True intelligence is born from pain. Not the kind of pain that breaks you, the kind that teaches you what comfort hides. Suffering reveals what your fantasies conceal. When you're comfortable, you believe in goodness, in fairness, in people's best intentions. But when you've been betrayed, used, or discarded, you stop believing. You start observing. And observation is the first layer of dark intelligence. The betrayed don't react anymore. They calculate. The broken don't hope. They plan. This isn't bitterness. It's evolution. You don't become cruel. You become clear. And clarity is the most dangerous weapon anyone can hold. The fool reacts. The strategist observes. Most people move through life on autopilot, driven by emotion, validation, and the need to be liked. They say yes when they mean no. They smile when they're angry. They apologize when they've done nothing wrong. Why? Because they're terrified of consequence. They fear rejection more than they value respect. But here's what they don't understand. Every time you prioritize approval over boundary, you teach people how to control you. You become predictable, and predictable people get used. Dark intelligence doesn't mean being evil. It means refusing to be naive. It means seeing manipulation before it lands. It means playing chess while everyone else is still learning checkers. I learned this the hard way. I used to think transparency was strength, that honesty would earn loyalty. It didn't. It earned exploitation. People took my openness and weaponized it. They knew my weaknesses because I handed them over like gifts. And when things fell apart, they used that knowledge against me. That's when I realized vulnerability without power is just a target. So I stopped sharing. I stopped explaining. I stopped seeking understanding. And the moment I did, everything changed. People couldn't predict me anymore. They couldn't manipulate what they didn't understand. Silence became my shield. Observation became my sword. And control, real control, came from what I refused to reveal. Let's be clear. Most people don't think. They echo. They repeat what they've been told, what feels comfortable, what keeps them safe. They call it morality, but it's just fear dressed up as virtue. Dark intelligence doesn't reject morality. It dissects it. It asks, who benefits from this rule? Who profits from my compliance? Why am I being told that self-interest is wrong, but corporate greed is just business? The intelligent don't follow the script. They write their own. They see society's codes for what they are. Tools of control, not universal truths. Machiavelli understood this. Nietzsche understood this. Sun Tzu understood this. Power doesn't apologize for existing. Only the powerless do. You want an example? Watch how people treat you when you stop being available. When you stop answering immediately. When you stop bending to their schedule. Suddenly they respect your time. They value your presence. Why? Because scarcity creates perception. When you're always there, you're taken for granted. When you disappear, you become significant. This isn't manipulation, it's psychology. People assign worth based on effort required, not effort given. The harder you are to access, the more they assume you're worth accessing. Dark intelligence isn't about being cold. It's about understanding the game well enough to stop losing. And the game? It's always been about dominance, leverage, and the silent art of making people think they chose you, when really, you chose them. The world is not black and white. Good and evil are not truths, they're tools. Labels people use to control behavior, to shame deviation, to keep you small. You've been told your whole life that certain actions are wrong, that certain thoughts make you bad. But who decided that? Who benefits when you follow those rules? Machiavelli understood something most people refuse to accept. The one who acts doesn't seek to seem righteous, he seeks to win. Morality is a costume. Power is the body underneath. The wise remain ethical, but they're never naive. They know when to bend, when to break, and when to pretend the rules still apply. That's not hypocrisy. That's survival. Most people get this wrong. They think being moral means being weak. It doesn't. It means being strategic about when and where you apply your principles. A surgeon doesn't refuse to cut because cutting causes pain. He cuts to save. The same logic applies to life. Sometimes you have to lie to protect. Sometimes you have to manipulate to lead. Sometimes you have to hurt someone's feelings to stop them from destroying themselves. The difference between cruelty and intelligence is intent. Cruelty enjoys the damage. Intelligence accepts it as necessary. You're not abandoning your values, you're prioritizing survival over approval. And survival always comes first. Always. Here's where people break. They think they have to choose. Be good or be powerful. Be kind or be respected. But that's a false binary created by those who fear your potential. You can be both if you understand context. In your inner circle, with people who've earned trust, you can be vulnerable, you can be generous. But with the world, with strangers, competitors, those testing your boundary, you wear the mask. You show them exactly what serves your interest and nothing more. This isn't deception, it's adaptation. Water doesn't apologize for taking the shape of its container. Neither should you. The fool shows his hand to everyone. The strategist shows only what moves the game forward. Think about the people you admire. The ones with real influence, real respect, real control. Are they always nice? No. Are they always honest? No. Do they tell you everything they're thinking? Never. They operate in layers: public face, private truth, and hidden strategy. Most people only see layer one. They think that's all there is. But power lives in the gap between what's shown and what's known. When you reveal everything, you lose leverage. When you explain yourself constantly, you lose authority. When you apologize for having boundaries, you lose respect. Machiavelli said it best: it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Not because fear is ideal, but because fear is reliable. Love is conditional. Fear is constant. Let me give you something practical. Next time someone tries to guilt you into doing something, notice the language. A good person would, if you really cared. I thought you were better than this. These are manipulation tactics disguised as moral judgment. They're designed to bypass your logic and trigger your emotion, to make you comply out of shame rather than choice. Dark intelligence recognizes this instantly. It doesn't argue, it doesn't defend, it simply asks, and if I don't? Watch what happens. Most people can't answer, because their power was never real. It was borrowed from your fear of being seen as bad. The moment you stop fearing that label, their control evaporates. Morality without power is just performance. Power without morality is chaos. But power with selective morality, that's dominance. That's how you win without losing yourself. And that's the line most people are too afraid to walk. Revealing everything is psychological suicide. Every word you speak is information. Every explanation you give is a weapon handed to someone else. Most people talk to fill space, to ease tension, to prove they're right. But the intelligent stay quiet. Not because they have nothing to say, because they understand that power lives in silence and gaps. When you don't explain, people guess. When you don't defend, they assume strength. When you don't react, they lose control. Silence isn't passive, it's the most active form of dominance you can deploy. It forces others to fill the void, to expose themselves, to reveal what they want before you show your hand. And once they've revealed it, you already won. Make them guess, make them uneasy. The moment you explain yourself, you justify. And justification implies you need permission. You don't. When someone asks why you did something and you simply say nothing, or worse, you smile and change the subject, they spiral. They can't manipulate what they don't understand. They can't predict what you won't reveal. I've watched people lose entire negotiations because they talked too much. They gave context, they shared reasoning, they thought transparency would build trust. It didn't. It built vulnerability. The other side learned their limits, their fears, their breaking points, and then they used it. Strategic silence isn't about being mysterious for aesthetics. It's about refusing to arm your enemies with your truth. Control the narrative. Don't explain, imply. When people ask what you're doing, don't list your plans. Say, I'm working on something. When they ask where you've been, don't justify. Say, around. When they push for details, don't cave. Let them wonder. Let them create stories. Let them fill the silence with their own insecurity. Because here's the secret. People assume competence in the absence of information. If you're quiet and composed, they think you're calculating. If you're loud and defensive, they think you're weak. You don't need to prove anything. You need to let them prove they're not worth your explanation. And most of them aren't. Think about the last time someone respected you without understanding you. Maybe a teacher, a boss, a stranger who saw you handle pressure without flinching. They didn't need your backstory. They didn't need your reasoning. They just saw the result. Calm under fire, control without effort, power without show. That's what silence does. It strips away the noise and leaves only presence. And presence is what people remember, not your words, not your explanations, your energy. Silence is the loudest form of communication because it says, I don't owe you comfort. I don't owe you clarity. I owe you nothing but the consequence of your own actions. And that consequence is earned, not explained. Let me be direct. Next time someone tries to bait you into an argument, into defending yourself, into explaining your choices, say nothing. Just look at them. Hold the stare. Let the silence stretch until it's uncomfortable. They'll break first. They always do, because silence exposes desperation. It reveals who needs the conversation more, and the one who needs it more has already lost. This applies everywhere. In relationships, in business, in conflict, in manipulation. The person who speaks first, who fills the gap, who breaks the tension, they're the one operating from fear. You're operating from power. And power doesn't negotiate. It observes. It waits. It strikes when the moment is perfect. Your power lies in what you don't say. Guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. It's not fake. It's strategy. You think being yourself in every situation is authenticity. It's not. It's stupidity. Showing the same face to everyone is how you get exploited, misunderstood, and dismissed. The intelligent don't have one self. They have versions, different masks for different rooms, not because they're dishonest, but because context demands adaptation. You wouldn't speak to a child the way you speak to a soldier. You wouldn't negotiate with a friend the way you negotiate with an enemy. So why do you insist on being real with people who haven't earned your reality? Adaptive persona isn't deception, it's survival. It's the ability to dominate without conflict, to lead without resistance, to win without anyone realizing you are playing. Speaking different languages means dominating in every mind. When you're with the weak, you show empathy, not because you feel it, but because it disarms them. When you're with the powerful, you show competence, not to impress them, but to align with them. When you're with the uncertain, you show certainty, not because you have all the answers, but because certainty creates followers. Like water, you change form but never essence. You adapt to the container without losing yourself. This is what most people can't do. They think changing behavior is losing identity. It's not. It's mastering psychology. It's understanding that every interaction is a negotiation, and negotiation requires reading the room before you make your move. Those who adapt survive. Those who resist break. I learned this watching people cling to their principles while their lives fell apart. They refused to bend. They refused to shift. They wore their rigidity like a badge of honor, and they lost everything: jobs, relationships, respect. Because the world doesn't care about your consistency, it cares about your utility. If you can't adjust, you become obsolete. But if you can shift your tone, your approach, your presentation based on who you're dealing with, you become untouchable. You're never out of place because you make every place yours. You don't fit in, you adjust the room to fit you. That's not weakness. That's dominance in its subtlest form. Let's make this practical. You're in a meeting with people who value emotion. Do you come in cold and analytical? No. You mirror their energy. You speak their language. You make them feel understood. Then, once trust is built, you lead them where you want them to go. Now you're in a room with ruthless competitors. Do you show vulnerability? Never. You show strength. You show certainty. You make them believe you're 3 steps ahead, even if you're figuring it out as you go. This isn't manipulation. It's alignment. You're not lying about who you are. You're emphasizing the part of you that serves the situation. Every successful leader does this. Every skilled negotiator does this. Every person with real power does this. They don't show their hand until the game is over. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Everyone is performing. Everyone. The person who says, "I'm just being myself," is performing authenticity. The person who says, "I don't play games," is playing the biggest game of all. The difference is awareness. Most people perform unconsciously. They react. They follow scripts they didn't write. But you perform with intention. You choose which version of yourself enters the room. You control the perception before it controls you. And that control, that calculated presentation of self, is how you move through the world without friction. You're not a chameleon because you're weak. You're a chameleon because you're too intelligent to show the same color to every predator. Adaptation is power, and those who adapt without losing their core, they're the ones who never break. True dominance is invisible. You think power is loud, aggressive, obvious. It's not. That's desperation wearing a crown. Real power operates in silence. It creates contexts where others believe they've chosen, but were guided. It engineers situations where people think they're in control while you hold every string. Silent leverage is the art of influence without force, control without appearing in control. It's invisible engineering. When you master this, you don't need to command respect. You design the environment where disrespecting you becomes impossible, and no one ever sees your hand. Create contexts where others believe they've chosen, but were guided. I'll show you how this works. You want someone to do something. The amateur demands it. The fool begs for it. But the strategist, he sets the stage. He removes alternatives. He makes the desired action the only logical path forward. Then he steps back and lets them decide. They feel autonomous. They feel empowered. But you shaped the entire decision tree. This is how governments work. This is how corporations work. This is how every power structure operates. They don't force compliance. They make compliance feel like freedom. And once you understand this, you can't unsee it. Every choice you've ever made was influenced by someone who understood leverage better than you did. Influence is invisible engineering. Most people try to change minds through argument, through logic, through emotional appeal. It rarely works, because people don't want to be convinced. They want to feel like they arrived at the conclusion themselves. So you don't tell them what to think. You ask questions that lead them there. You present information in a sequence that makes your position the inevitable result. You use timing, context, and repetition. Not force, not pressure, just presence. I've seen entire boardrooms shift because one person knew how to frame the conversation. They didn't speak the most. They didn't argue the loudest. They simply controlled the framework. And whoever controls the framework controls the outcome. Control without appearing in control. This is the highest form of power. When people know you're manipulating them, they resist. But when they don't see it, they comply willingly. They even thank you for it. Think about great leaders, great strategists, great influencers. Do they tell you what to do? Rarely. They inspire you to want what they want. They align your goals with theirs so smoothly you never notice the seam. That's silent leverage. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the one who decides what the room discusses. You don't need authority if you control the context. You don't need dominance if you engineer consent. And you never ever reveal that you're doing it. Let me give you something tangible. You want someone to respect your boundary. Don't announce it, don't explain it, just enforce it through consequence. If they cross the line, you withdraw. Not dramatically, not emotionally, you just become less available, less responsive, less invested. They'll notice, and they'll adjust. Because people adapt to patterns, not lectures. If your absence creates discomfort, they'll modify their behavior to regain your presence. You didn't argue. You didn't fight. You just shifted the environment until the cost of disrespecting you became too high. That's leverage. Silent, precise, and absolute. Power isn't loud. It's precise. It's the ability to shape reality without anyone realizing you touched it. And once you learn this, you'll never need to raise your voice again. Those who fear losing have already lost. Fear is a chain. It binds you to outcomes, to people, to validation you don't control. The moment you need something, respect, love, approval, success, you become a slave to it. And slavery has no power. Detachment isn't coldness, it's freedom. It's the ability to walk away from anything without flinching, to let go without grieving, to watch something burn and feel nothing but clarity. When you stop fearing loss, you stop being controllable. And when you stop being controllable, you become dangerous. Not to others, to the system that relies on your fear to keep you compliant. Detachment isn't coldness, it's freedom. People confuse the two because they've never experienced real detachment. They think it means not caring. It doesn't. It means caring without attachment to outcome. You can love someone and still be willing to lose them. You can want success and still be fine with failure. You can fight for something and walk away the moment it costs more than it's worth. This isn't apathy. It's strategy. Because the one who fears nothing controls everything. Think about negotiation. The person who needs the deal loses. The person who can walk away wins. Always. Detachment is leverage in its purest form. It's the refusal to be held hostage by your own desires. The one who fears nothing controls everything. I've watched people destroy their lives because they couldn't let go. They stayed in relationships that drained them. They clung to jobs that broke them. They held on to identities that no longer served them. Why? Because they feared the unknown more than they hated the present. That's not strength. That's psychological imprisonment. Detachment means accepting that everything is temporary. People leave. Opportunities end. Power shifts. And the only constant is your ability to adapt without breaking. When you internalize this, truly internalize it, you stop negotiating from weakness. You stop begging. You stop compromising your boundary for comfort. You just move. And movement is survival. Power is born when fear dies. Let's be specific. You're afraid of rejection, so you people please. You're afraid of failure, so you don't try. You're afraid of loneliness, so you tolerate disrespect. Every fear you hold is a lever someone else can pull. But the moment you detach from the outcome, the moment you accept the worst-case scenario and realize you'd survive it, you become untouchable. Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius meditated on death, loss, betrayal, not to be morbid, but to remove their power over him. When you've already accepted the loss, losing doesn't hurt. And when losing doesn't hurt, you can take risks no one else will. You can say no when everyone expects yes. You can walk away when everyone expects you to stay. That's power. Here's the practice. Every day, sit with the thing you're most afraid of losing. Your relationship, your reputation, your comfort, your identity. Now imagine it's gone. Completely. How would you rebuild? Who would you become? What would you do next? Walk through that scenario until it stops terrifying you. Until it becomes just another possibility, not a catastrophe. This is detachment training. It strips the emotion from consequence and leaves only logic. And logic doesn't panic. It plans. The more you practice this, the less you need. The less you need, the more you control. And the more you control, the less anyone can touch you. Detachment isn't the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of it. And mastery begins the moment you stop fearing what you can't control. Power isn't what they told you it was. It's not money. It's not status. It's not how many people follow you or fear you. Those are symptoms of power, not the source. Real power is internal. It's the ability to act without needing external permission, to decide without consensus, to exist without validation. Most people spend their entire lives seeking approval, from parents, from peers, from society. They build their identity on what others think, and the moment that approval is withdrawn, they collapse. That's not power. That's dependency dressed up as success. Power begins when you stop asking the world to confirm your worth. When you validate yourself from within, you become immune to manipulation. You've been conditioned to believe power comes from dominance over others. It doesn't. It comes from dominance over yourself. over your impulses, your emotions, your need to be liked. The person who can sit in silence while everyone else panics has power. The person who can say no without explanation has power. The person who can lose everything and still stand has power. This is what Stoicism teaches. This is what Machiavelli implied, but never said directly. Control yourself, and you control your world. Lose control of yourself, and the world controls you. Every addiction, every obsession, every desperate need, those are chains. And chains don't care how much money you have or how many people know your name. Let me be direct. I've seen billionaires with no power. They're slaves to their image, their shareholders, their legacy. I've seen nobodies with absolute power. They need nothing. They fear nothing. They move through life like water, adapting, flowing, never breaking. That's the difference. One group is trapped by what they have. The other is free because they're not attached to it. Power isn't accumulation, it's liberation. It's the ability to walk away from anything that costs more than it gives. And most things cost more than they give. Your ego costs you truth. Your pride costs you growth. Your need for approval costs you respect. The moment you release those, you gain everything that matters. Think about the last time you felt truly powerful. Not validated, not praised, powerful. It wasn't when someone agreed with you. It wasn't when you won an argument. It was when you acted despite fear, despite doubt, despite consequence. When you chose your path and stopped caring who followed. That's the moment. That's when you tasted real power. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll realize it had nothing to do with anyone else. It was internal, a shift in perception, a refusal to negotiate with your own weakness. Power is a decision, not a position. You either decide you're in control of your life, or you hand that control to circumstance, to people, to fear. And most people hand it over without even noticing. Here's what you do with this. Stop seeking power externally. Stop trying to dominate others to feel strong. Start here. Control your reaction when someone disrespects you. Master your emotion when plans fall apart. Command your mind when fear whispers. That's where power lives. Not in boardrooms, not in titles. In the gap between stimulus and response. In the space where you decide how you'll move, what you'll accept, who you'll become. Machiavelli wrote about princes and politics, but the real lesson was always about self-mastery, disguised as strategy. The prince who cannot rule himself cannot rule a nation, and you can't rule your life if you're still seeking permission to exist. My validation comes from within. Say that. Mean it. Live it, because the moment you do, everything changes. Not the world, you, and that's the only power that ever mattered. Intelligence doesn't apologize. It doesn't explain. It doesn't beg for understanding. It simply exists, cold, precise, and untouchable. You've spent your life being told that kindness is power, that goodness wins, that playing fair earns respect. And where did that leave you? Right here, watching this, searching for the truth they never gave you. The truth is simple. The world rewards those who understand psychology, who master emotion, who see manipulation before it lands. Not because they're evil, because they're awake. Machiavelli wasn't teaching cruelty. He was teaching survival. And survival doesn't negotiate with morality. It adapts to reality. You have a choice now. Keep pretending fairness exists. Keep hoping people will value your goodness. Keep waiting for respect you'll never receive. Or wake up, see the game, learn the rules, and play without hesitation. Intelligence isn't given, it's claimed. And claiming it means letting go of the fantasy that being nice protects you. It doesn't. It marks you as prey. But understanding power, that makes you untouchable. Before you go further, you need to understand the foundation. Watch the previous video. They only respect you when you do this. Machiavelli. It breaks down the exact moment respect shifts. The psychology behind why people only value you when you stop being available, stop explaining, stop seeking approval. Everything you just learned builds on that principle. Without it, you're missing the root. Watch it now. Then come back here. Write this in the comments. Intelligence is my weapon. Not as a question, as a statement, as a declaration that you've chosen clarity over comfort, strategy over sentiment, power over approval. Say it like you mean it. Because if you can't write it, you don't believe it yet. And if you don't believe it, nothing changes. The game is already being played. The only question is whether you're a piece or a player.